Hello, everyone. Welcome to an all new episode of the Indic Explorer Show. I am your host, Vineet. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, whether you are a fired employee from a bootstrapped startup which has gone wrong, or if you are an employee or a subordinate who is stuck with a toxic boss in a large corporate, or whether you're a housewife who is going through a lot of issues with her in laws, or if you're a teenager thinking about how to ask a girl out on prom night, there is a brand new app in town which will probably be a great solution to all your problems. And to talk about that with me today, I have with me a very special guest, Abhishek Asthana, aka Gabbar. Welcome to the show, Abhishek.
Hi, man. It's pleasure to be here. Yeah,
Would you prefer me referring to you by the name or the pseudonym?
Gabbar is fine. Yeah,
Yeah, so we had a back and forth in Twitter, and that was quite an interesting exchange. And a podcaster had asked Abhishek to come over on his show, and then he was pretty entitled, and then मैंने मौके पे चौका मार दिया. So that's how it happened. But anyways,
yeah.
coming to the topic of the discussion. So your app, the Hood, I have used it, especially the beta phase when it was called Zorro. So I was one of the early bird users. It's quite an interesting app, very different from other apps. So I
Yeah.
want to ask you, what was the need for you to start something like this, which is pseudo anonymous? What problem were you trying to solve?
Got it. See, I think what happened was I've been pseudonymous myself. I mean, if you call that, when you say what is a pseudonymous identity, where there is soft anonymity. I mean, people know you by a pseudonym, and you prefer to go by that pseudonym. And then it's not a you hold that pseudonym. I mean, you maintain equity with the pseudonym. You continue to create content with that pseudonym. So it's not like a 4chan anonymous where every other interaction you have with the internet is anonymous and non-distinguishable from the previous interaction. This is where you continue with the same pseudonym. So that's where I had a handle called Gabbar Singh on Twitter for over 13 years now. So this was natural actually. So to do something like this, and in which ways initially there was a lot of apprehensions that how would an anonymous app behave. It would delve into the same negativity and pornographic references people use there. I mean, a good example is this class. What was that? The audio app. I'm forgetting the Clubhouse. Yeah, Clubhouse, where again it started on a great note and then it delved into I mean discussions about hooking up and everything. So we thought that we'll keep it clean. We'll try to be heavily moderated. I mean in the sense, suppose we see any such instances, we wouldn't allow that. And since then, the experience has been great. And what is happening is that there are a lot of introverts out there, right? I mean, there's whenever you post anything online, your identity is associated with it, and you think twice thrice before putting up your real thoughts, because and not, I mean, people like us who are fine with languages. There are people who are not that fluent with grammar and stuff. So what happens is that there's suddenly sometimes they have this hesitation of putting stuff out there, and whether it will sound right or not. So there are a lot of friction. So if you see any social network, there are only 5% creators. There are 100 people out there lurking and scrolling stuff. Only 5% people actually go ahead and actually create content and post stuff, right? So this was a big gap actually. So we thought that why not have a platform where there is no such judgment as such. And our creator percentage is 4x of that right now on Hood. So that shows that okay, when there is some kind of non-judgment free environment, people love to create stuff. So yeah, that's working out well now, and we are growing really fast now.
Like one thing that I can think of that it is solving is this song that you would have heard, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे लोगों का काम है कहना.
Yeah.
And there is this whole social frowning phenomenon, and India as such is a shame is a very important part. Like avoiding shame is a very important part of our culture, right? Like people don't want to kind of
Yeah.
be caught off guard in front of family, community, etc.
Mhm.
So I think that is one thing that clearly
Yeah.
this can help
And
solve.
see, more or less, see, it's not that we are trying to solve some particular issue or something. See, it's at the end of the day, it's a social network. It's a social thing, right? Where you want to bond with other human beings. If suppose you are alone, you'll want to talk to someone else, right? And that's what it is doing basically. I mean, a Facebook, a LinkedIn, a Twitter will have different flavors of stuff, but ultimately it's about human to human connection, and that's what is happening here. And now, see, when you're anonymous, you'll have something to rant about, but that occasion might be once in a month, or twice in a month maybe. When suppose you had a bad day at office, you want to rant about your boss, you had a breakup, you want to rant about that. But those instances will be very less frequent in your life. So it's not going to be like a ranting platform you're going to come, and it's ultimately people come here to chat with other people, to find other people, find friends, and discuss with stuff with them, judgment free, basically. So that's the USP right now.
Now, in most cases, social media apps usually would like to say that only so many percentage people are trolls and we are trying to remove non-verified accounts and all of that, right? I'm assuming in your case, at some feasibility level, you would have looked at these trolls and anonymous handles
Uh-huh.
as an addressable market that you can tap into.
Not really. See, we're not like looking at those people who are trolls and stuff and anonymous trolls. No. See, anonymous trolls, basically, these are two different sets. The intersection is an anonymous troll, right?
Correct,
It need not be the case that every anonymous person is a troll,
correct,
every troll is
correct.
anonymous. You can have people who are ministers who can be trolls. So there is it's a set basically. The intersection set is anonymous troll. So our idea is not to go after those anonymous trolls and stuff. Our idea is just to create a place where people can come and meet other people anonymously, and initially anonymously, and then if they choose, they want to like disclose, they find the other person good enough. So we are having city meets now, imagine. I mean, people are coming to meet, other hood users basically. So ultimately the whole idea is that only that the what we are solving is loneliness. Human wants to bond with other people, and this is a channel basically where you get in because of the initial draw of anonymity, that okay, you'll be judgment free and everything. So the initial hesitation, the entry barriers are not there to post stuff. So when those entry barriers are not there, and you talk to the other person, and the other person also feels you are interesting, or your stuff is interesting, and you might want to bond further, then of course there are various other avenues to do that. So yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, it's a human to human connection. It's a network that we are building. It's a social network, and the flavor is of anonymous, judgment free environment. Yeah.
How does an anonymous meetup work? That's what I'm curious to know.
Yeah, so even we are curious actually. So so how we are building this is right now we've got good amount of users. Almost like 20,000 people come every day. It's a DAU basically, and monthly, of course, there is a huge number. So what is happening is that these guys are coming and chatting with each other, and a lot of people said that okay, we want to meet each other. Why don't we have a city meetup? Quora used to have a city meetup. Reddit used to have. I mean, still when it was starting in the US, it was having it. So that's where we realized that people want to meet each other. And we said that fine. I mean, our thing was very simple. If you want to disclose your handle, you disclose it. If you don't want to, you don't need to disclose it. You come there and talk about Hood generally, that okay, what is happening on Hood. You don't need to disclose your personal identity specifically, right? So, we are having it. And let's see how it goes. But it's fun. I mean, it's like a Truman. If you've seen the movie Truman Show,
Yeah.
it's like you're creating a world basically, and you're putting an ice cream shop somewhere, and suddenly people are flocking there. So it's that kind of experiments we do and see that how all things work, and it's amazing.
So you went on Shark Tank, and initially there was some criticism and skepticism from the sharks, right? So how did you handle that? And also, how is the deal discussion going on with Aman and Piyush?
Yeah. So, see, Shark Tank, when it came to us, we didn't hadn't applied as actually. So somehow it came through, and they also realized, okay, there is a startup which is funded by 21 unicorn founders, and then there's Gabbar Singh as well. So इसको बुलाते हैं, थोड़ा सा promotion भी हो जाएगा and all that. So there are various things involved, And so when I went in the audition, they knew that it was Gabbar Singh. They said that, okay, welcome Gabbar Singh. I said, okay, तो audition में बोला नाम जान रहा है. Same happened with the show as well. When I walked in, they had been briefed already that there's a guy called Gabbar. He's been cracking jokes about Shark Tank. So we went in back there, and our entry was also like interesting. But the only thing is that our app, basically, right? I mean, the tech, any tech startup, these or VC funded startups are not amenable to Shark Tank format, because a, we are not making profits, we are burning a lot of money, and there's no, I mean, right now, I mean, at that time there was no pathway to profitability as well, right? So and such startups are right now, I mean, in this age, in this year maybe, are seen adversely, and those are the startup. But what works in Shark Tank is D2C startups. When you have, ओ मैंने अचार बनाया, मैंने पिज्जा बनाया, लो खाओ, अचार है, बड़ा अच्छा लगा आपका, चलिए पैसा लो. तो वैसा करके काम जो होता है ना, वो सच स्टफ, सच बिजनेसेस वर्क. यहाँ पे क्या है कि अब मतलब यू आर प्रोमिसिंग स्टफ टू पीपल, राइट? एंड दे आर लाइक, नहीं, वी आर रियलिस्ट पीपल, आप बताओ क्या कर रहे हो, कैसे पैसे कमाओगे, एंड ऑल दैट. एंड frankly speaking, those guys are not the best judges of social media. Those are in their portfolio as well. They have never invested in a social media startup, and they have never built anything as well in their own startups as well. So they have very little clue about, and it's very difficult. I mean, it's unfair to expect them to have knowledge of all kind of categories. In VC funds, you'll have one practice expert, one domain expert who will be doing. Let's say he invests in fintech, he invests in social apps, he invests in consumer brands. So even there, I mean, those are the most qualified people. You have different people who judge, and these guys are like, ठीक है, generic. They ask some generic questions, and basically some of those questions were very stupid. So I was like, dude, ये क्या पूछा? तो मैं क्या आंसर दूँ इसका? One of the questions was virality question, and one guy was like, please tell me what is the virality question, and I was stumped because the dictionary definition of virality question is that how many new other users this one guy is inviting and bringing in, right? And see, at this age, people don't invite people to apps, right? I mean, how do you know about an app? Somebody will tell you on WhatsApp, "क्या रे, ये अच्छा app है, you should download it." ठीक है. How would I know that person has brought you or not? मैंने कल आपको ऑफलाइन बोला, ठीक है, ये आप में चार लोगों को बोला कि यार ये अच्छा है, डाउनलोड करो. You go to the Play Store and download it. How would I link back to you?
But
And that was
and also for an anonymous app, why would you create a link? I mean, that makes no sense.
absolute. So, anonymous. I mean, it's मतलब
आप उनसे
this question.
छुटकारा पाने के लिए जा रहे हो, वहां पे भी आप मतलब उनके साथ लिंक हो रहे हो, तो फिर
And we have had like 200 VC meetings before this, right? And nobody had asked us this question. This came out of the blue. Like, ये क्या question पूछ लिया आपने? And I was stumped. And the thing is also now keep there and the tank basically, you can't be combative, because once you become combative and those guys don't like it either for some reason. Suddenly, if suppose you said one harsh word to one judge, right, everybody will gang up against you, right? And you might lose out on the deal. Our goal was very simple: go there and make sure you're on TV. That's it. We didn't want any money and all that. वैसे पैसा नहीं चाहिए हमको, हम just जाएंगे. And people have also guessed it कि हाँ marketing के लिए आए, हाँ marketing के लिए आए. The cost of one Shark Tank appearance is 5 crores media value. In the sense, if suppose you run an ad, basically, I mean, let's say you get 12 minutes of airtime or 30 minutes of airtime on Shark Tank, and if suppose you run ads on those 12 minutes of your startup, it will cost you 5 crores in G's.
you're
So
basically saying the opportunity cost, basically.
but मतलब, see, we usually call it the media value of that, right? The media value was 5 crores. So we said, why would I spend those 5 crores from my seed fund which I've raised? Why not like use that TV opportunity? And then it helped really. After Shark Tank, we went 5x, and all our CACs, the customer acquisition cost, came down 1/6 of the cost. I mean, we were spending like some amount of money, and then now it got 1/6 of the original price. So it really worked for us. And our whole thing was that, okay, create enough flutter on TV, and don't be boring basically. Either get fucked or fuck them. So do either of them, so that at least it makes on TV, so that they'll see. Their whole idea is that any Sony channel, right, the showrunners basically, if you put yourself in their shoes, what's your objective? Your objective is to get maximum eyeballs, right? Maximum eyeballs come from two things: either humor or a sob story. When someone is rags to riches कि यार बहुत गरीब था और अब पैसे मिल गए तो मैं आपको दूंगा, मैं खुश हो गया, खुशी से रोने लग गया. Such stories make for great story on TV. And when someone gets fucked really bad, like Ashneer used to do that last year. So they have been told, don't be harsh. They're not that bad people. They've been told to be harsh, right? So to create that value. So I knew this. So my whole idea was that either we should go either way. I mean, if suppose we come across as someone who's already been funded, so we are not a rags to riches story anyway. I mean, we've already raised $3.2 million, and so nobody is gonna be sympathetic to you. I mean, saying कि अरे यार ये तो गरीब बच्चे हैं, इनको दे दो पैसा तो ये लोग कुछ बना लेंगे, ऐसा तो होगा नहीं. तो you get fucked. Then it makes news. So मैंने बाहर आया था, तो basically they had offered us and I came out and literally I said this that अरे यार हाँ बोल देते हैं, marketing हो जाएगी. And it was captured on TV as well. But yeah, I mean, we were very clear of this that okay, हम जाएंगे and deal. देखो deal मिली भी ना. See, what happens is that the whole the pitch went south suddenly. अरे यार ये क्या, ये ऐसे वैसे ऐसे वैसे. And suddenly they thought कि अरे यार पैसे लगाते हैं, उनको पता है VC funded स्टार्टअप है और इसमें पैसा बन जाएगा उनका अगर पैसे लगाएंगे तो suddenly they हाँ हाँ हम आप पे पैसा लगाते हैं. आई वाज लाफिंग इंटरनली, यार ये तो मुझे पता था क्योंकि उनके पास डील आ चुकी थी पहले भी, तो दे सॉ कि डील आई है तो जाने नहीं देते, ले लेते हैं.
तो
तो
क्या फिर
अमन
कॉन्वर्सेशन कैसा चल रहा है पीयूष और अमन के साथ?
चल रहा है, तो आई थिंक इट्स इन प्रोग्रेस. सो द होल आइडिया इज दे आर आल्सो सीइंग कि अच्छा क्या चल रहा है इनका, सीरीज ए रेज हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. तो वो पता है ना, उनको लगा सीरीज ए रेज होगा उससे पहले कूद जाएंगे ट्रेन में चढ़ जाएंगे. तो वी आर गोइंग आफ्टर सीरीज ए नाउ. सो वो हो जाएगा, लेकिन सी वी डिडंट वांट द मनी, वी गॉट व्हाट वी वांटेड. अभी वो करे नहीं करे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बट आई एम हियरिंग लॉट ऑफ बैड स्टोरीज बाय द वे कि हुआ नहीं, नहीं मिला लोगों को पैसा. एंड इट्स ठीक है यार, अब भाई देखो पैसा उनका है, सोनी पैसा दे नहीं रहा है उनको, उनको अपने पैसे लगाना है. अब वो दिमाग लगा के लगाएंगे पैसा. दे आर नोबडी ऑफ देम, नन ऑफ देम इज बेसिकली सम फिलैंथ्रोपिस्ट की चलो तुम्हारा अचार के बिजनेस को मैं ऊपर ले जाऊंगा. ऐसा कोई है नहीं.
तो जस्ट शेयर सम नंबर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ MAUs, DAUs, डाउनलोड्स कैसा है अभी?
But yeah, I think I don't think so is the right forum to share that. I mean, given that we are going into VC meetings right now, those numbers are privy. But I mean, it's exploding right now. Just go on the app right now and just search for, just go on the live feed, and you will see every second some post is coming. So the traction is amazing right now. I mean, if you want to share some numbers, I'll tell you. Okay, every day there are like around 20 to 30,000 posts coming on the app. So there are enough people who are posting stuff, and it's going. I mean, week on week, we are growing around 17 to 18% week on week growth on all numbers. So right now, organic is 30%. So these are the kind of that is the kind of stuff that is happening right now.
From a monetization point of view, I mean, I felt like because you don't run ads, and I think there is no subscription tier also. So, what is the
And then,
monetization
yeah,
strategy?
got it. See, very simple. DAU, MAU, though those objectives are no longer valid. You had share chat who had, I mean, amazing amount of DAU, but they didn't work because, I mean, snatching ad dollars from Google and Facebook is very difficult in India. You can't run a sustainable business by just ad revenue. We went to the model of Cuckoo FM and Tinder and Bumble where you have in-app purchases. So that's our idea basically. We are doing boost post, we are doing paid DMs and everything. So it will be like premium-ish, premium kind of a service kind of a thing, and we'll have different things that you can buy, and that's how I mean we'll be making money.
When you say buy, is this like your own store or like?
No, for more features basically. Say, imagine there are some features that there's a we don't have a DM right now on our app right now, right? So in future, what will happen is that if you want to DM someone, I mean, we can give 5 credits. Let's say 5 DM opportunities at this price basically, and we are seeing a lot of traction for that. Then there is a boosting your own post to make it reach more people. If you can do that, that is also there. So no ads right now, but because ads CPMs are very low, um, it's not sustainable. Right now, the best way to go is basically introducing in-app purchases, and that's how all these apps like Tinder, Bumble, Cuckoo FM, Pocket FM, all these apps are growing, and
Right.
that's
Okay. And the other thing, I'm sure you would have thought about it because in digital and in apps, the important selling proposition is targeting, which you cannot do because of the anonymity, right? So, how did you plan to grapple this problem.
Yeah, I see, it's fine. I mean, on Twitter as well, I'm anonymous, but I still see ads, right? So what happens is that after a while, the system learns that what kind of stuff that you're posting, what kind of stuff you're liking. So you get to put them in certain psychographics, basically. So it's not that difficult now. I mean, if suppose I look at your data, what you're posting, what kind of stuff that you are liking, buying, and so I get to know. But this is then this is relevant to people who show any interaction on the platform, right? Who are creating stuff. I mean, that is usually 5% and 10% in other apps. So that's the difficulty basically, right? So that's where I told you that ad revenue is not the revenue model which we are very keen on. But maybe later, if suppose we have enough numbers, we'll do that. But initially, but the first step would be to get it done via in-app purchases to give more premium features to users.
Got it. And how, like, because it's an anonymous app, how do you intend to deal with privacy issues? Because that is the most important and crucial thing for
Yeah.
an app like this.
The thing is that, see, the foremost trust bridge that you make with an anonymous app is that it won't reveal your identity, right? So we don't take any details from the user. We just take a phone number. That's it. We don't ask names and everything. कुछ नहीं लेते हम. और तो वन ट्रस्ट इज दैट कि मैंने कुछ दिया ही नहीं तो क्या रिवील करेंगे मेरा, ठीक है. दूसरा है कि स्टिल दैट my data is my data. Why should I be, even a whiff of it should be revealed? So Shark Tank helped there, of course. Though we have all the technical capabilities, we are encrypted one. I mean, end to end, it's 128 AES bit encryption. This is a bank grade encryption that we do. But still, there the trust factor was instilled by TV exposure. When they saw the app is on TV, they realized, okay, this could be trusted and I can be on this app, right? So that's where it helped a lot as well. That's why we wanted to be on TV to build that trust bridge.
That's very interesting. But did you advertise on digital as well, or was there any?
A bit, not much. So what happened was we tried initially, and all of these were experiments only, just to see what is working, what is not working. And to date, we don't spend much. I mean, we still have about 70% of the money is remaining with us. So we have 29 months of runway, 30 months of runway right now with us. So we'll see 2.5 years. I mean, right now there is a crunch, funding crunch, people are saying, but we will of course see through it easily. No worries there. But I mean, we are now looking at releasing Series A, and there's a lot of interest from investors. So that's where I think we needed that trust bit, and that came from Shark Tank. And the kind of advertising after Shark Tank we did delivered immense results because people immediately knew that okay, this is what I've seen on Shark Tank, and that's where we are going right now.
Do you think the Shark Tank exposure will also help with the VCs, or do they see that, like, how do the VCs see look at Shark Tank exposure?
VCs are a bit skeptical. VCs know they have seen two waves of it. They also know that it will give you an initial bump, but will you be able to sustain it or retain the bump is questionable actually. And they have seen enough startups who have gotten a bump, but they haven't recovered from the fall the next month, and that's where they are very skeptical as well. They like the exposure. They say it's good. The media monies you are saving is amazing. Shows the results as well. I mean, how show the retention numbers. So they are more interested in the retention numbers than actual bump and metrics like DAU and MAU initially. So retention is the biggest metric. I mean, for any Indian app, basically, retention is the most important metric. Why is because you can get people onto an app by giving them cashbacks, maybe pay them money and invest in ads and everything. But to retain them, it's very difficult. I mean, there are enough apps out there vying for your attention. In Netflix, Instagram, or Twitter or Facebook, everybody is vying for that time that you have. And how can an Indian app basically make an inroad and take away some of that time? It's very difficult, right? So, but it's fine. I mean, our users who are there are right now saying that we are spending 5 hours, 6 hours on your platform right now. So there is a lot of stickiness. That's what makes us a lot encouraging because I know when we went in for fundraise initially, the first question that was asked was, "कि क्यों कर रहे हो? What tough है?" I mean, it's very tough to get users without paying them money in India. I mean, what works is fintech. You give them some discount, this that people flock to you, And I mean, even Cred and all these guys are, what they're doing is they're telling you rewards and bounty, right? That's what they're selling. Any ad you see of any fintech, the only thing that the only benefit proposition they want to tell you is either you'll make money or you will save money. That only two propositions basically. Make money is basically you'll get rewards, bounties, cashback, this that. Save money, that okay, we'll save you this much. You'll get if you come to Zomato or come to Swiggy, you get this much discount. Ye hoga, wo hoga. But ultimately, it's all about making money or saving money. Saving time doesn't work in India much, right? Convenience का नहीं पैसा देता कोई यहाँ पे इंडिया में. So social network becomes very difficult because it is just, there is no intrinsic value, right? You're just passing your time here. You जो आपको enjoyment का है, entertainment का है basically, या connecting with people. तो उसके लिए बहुत सारी apps पड़ी है बात विदेशों में, LinkedIn से लेके ट्विटर से लेके फेसबुक से लेके हर जगह भरा हुआ है. तो आप इंडियन ऐप क्या करेगा उसके अंदर? लेकिन वही टफ था. दैट्स व्हाई वी गॉट अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस कि कोल्ड स्टार्ट प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व करोगे, हाउ विल यू गेट योर फर्स्ट 10,000 यूजर्स, फर्स्ट 1,000 यूजर्स. नेटवर्क तब बनेगा ना उसके, वो आएंगे पहले. But then now we are past that stage, and now if you open the app and go to the live feed, हर सेकंड में आता रहता है कुछ ना कुछ कंटेंट, and it's crazy. That's why I mean, good state to be in. Now we want to grow from here and get. We have seen tremendous retention numbers as well. So वो भी चल वो फिट हो गया अभी हमारा. तो अब देखते हैं कहाँ जाता है यहाँ से.
So give us a snapshot of what kind of, how people form communities, because they are all anonymous, right? How are communities formed? What kind of communities, and also what kind of chatter and conversation is going on in Hood?
See, यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि there are all kinds of people, right? There would be someone who is working in BCG, and there would be a student studying in some private college, right? And those two are talking, and they're not talking intellectual stuff. They are talking judgment free stuff. कि अरे यार, I went on a date, ये हो गया, चॉप हो गई मेरी आज. तो मतलब वो होता है ना कि जो चीज़ आप बता नहीं सकते कहीं बार, मतलब some stuff that you can't share with your friends, family, this that, you come here to share that such stuff, right? And it's very fun and interesting because everything is anonymous, so people would be talking the truth. So anonymity usually is correlated with truth, and that's why people saying कि अच्छा कुछ यहाँ पे ना मेरे को बैंगर्स मिलेंगे, ट्रुथ हम बोलते हैं ना उसको, ट्रुथ ड्रॉप्स मिलेंगे मेरे को यहाँ पे. तो अभी आके वो बात करते हैं आपस में, मतलब वी लुकिंग फॉर प्रोडक्ट इवेंजलिस्ट एक्चुअली फॉर ऐप. And when we actually contacted few of them who actually volunteered to come and disclose, they were like people we thought कि कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स होंगे, कोई बीसीजी काम कर रहा है, कोई बीसीजी में है, कोई किसी कंसल्टेंसी में है. ये तो यार ये भी ऐसे लोग भी भरे भरे हुए हैं. तो इट्स a mixed bag basically, and that's where it's fun because anybody can interact with anybody. And if you, I mean, it's remains to be seen. Go there and see that. I mean, once you download the app, right, and see the home feed and see the live feed, you'll get to see what kind of stuff people are talking about. It's quite random, but it's fun.
And communities, कैसे मतलब what kind of communities?
Communities, yeah. So we have groups on our platform where there's a group called salary discussions. People come and discuss their salaries. कि मैं इतने एक्सपीरियंस है, मेरे को भी इतना पैसा मिल रहा है, ठीक मिल रहा है, नहीं मिल रहा है, आप बताओ. एंड आप उस कंपनी में काम करते हो, कितना पैसा मिल रहा है, वो बताते हैं. There are some things which you can't discuss publicly, right? Then there are marital problems, then there are mental health problems. People discuss that. There are separate communities for that, and people discuss in those communities. And then you can also create stuff, groups about your college, your company, and add people and discuss anonymously. तो वो सब कुछ है इसमें. बट अभी क्या हो रहा है कि मैक्सिमम जो मेरे को वो दिख रहा है, ट्रैक्शन दिख रहा है, वो दिख रहा है हमारे इन कम्युनिटीज में जो कि इंटरेस्ट बेस्ड कम्युनिटीज है. एंड आपकी मेन टाइमलाइन पे जहाँ पे लोग आप, they are talking to their friends, they're following people and talking to them, following their lives as well, just like typical social network.
From a product point of view, जब आप when you were conceiving it, like was there anything specific in the UI, or
Yeah.
yeah, how did you approach the product part of it?
Yeah, so we knew that the secret sauce is your UI UX, right? App ideas are, I mean, dime a dozen, but if suppose the UI UX is soothing, if it wants, if it compels you to come back and scroll, keep scrolling, and you don't feel fatigued basically being on the app, right? That's when you have cracked it. So we spent a lot of time in terms of designing the UI UX, and there are a lot of blowback as well. कि ये क्यों कर रहे हो? ये कलर scheme सही नहीं लग रहा. we spend a lot of money on the font, basically. The font is very expensive, by the way. So we took a lot of time in basically designing the spacings, how to look like, and those things are invisible for any user, but a lot of effort went into that. And once we cracked that, we realized if there is stickiness or not. We tested it with my friends and family and told them कि देखो नहीं यार मजा नहीं आ रहा ऐप पे देखते हैं then stickiness है कि नहीं नहीं stickiness उतनी नहीं है I went to have water and then I come back and see my cousin again using it हालांकि यार stickiness तो है हाँ उठा लिया फिर से तो it's you can't articulate it basically. So this is a secret sauce. If suppose your app has great UI UX, if it feels good to be there, good to scroll and stuff, that is when people will spend a lot of time. Yeah.
Did you learn anything from the Zorro phase?
ZorroFace in the sense,
The initial when you had launched, I think the beta version, no?
a lot of learning. So the thing is, no, what we learned was basically that you can't. You need to be very simple. The mistake a lot of people make is trying to fill their product with a lot of features. They think that it have to make a catalog of stuff that ye bhi kar sakte hain, wo bhi kar sakte hain. You don't need to confuse people. You don't need to have multiple ye bhi de do, ye bhi de do. That's the issue with a lot of apps I see that they try to make it more complicated. I mean, if suppose you give a lot of choices to people, right? They suddenly get distracted, and they feel that they have to put in an effort to learn this, right? So the training bit of it, if suppose it doesn't require any training to use your app, it's the best app. If it requires training, it requires effort to basically learn stuff, then it becomes troublesome. And then we learned it the hard way. We tried to put a lot of stuff. We put a trending list thing, then this, that, and it was all over promising stuff. And if you over promising or not delivering it, then it's an issue. So we then simplified the app, made it like one feed, and removed the extraneous features. And once we stripped it down to the core of the app, it suddenly started working.
How do you handle hate, abuse, violent threat, any sexual, like
Yeah, it
content,
comes.
etc.? What's your policy for that? What's your also what's the complaint review policy? Like, how do you manage this whole thing?
Yeah, so see, we were very vigilant of this. So we got our terms of service drafted by the top law firm in India, which does this with for bigger social networks as well. So we knew that this is going to be something that we need to invest in on. So we have a very robust TOS, and also now what is happening is the content guidelines are very strict now that okay, if suppose you're abusing someone and someone is reporting you, then we'll take that handle down and we'll permanently suspend it or suspend it temporarily. So that is working well. I mean, we haven't had any problems as such. Of course, there are some bad actors who come every day and they'll try to create ruckus, but that is managed and a lot of it is automated because we have now. I mean, I'll tell you with the advent of AI and everything, lot of stuff has become a lot simpler. And to do the same stuff, same kind of moderation, a company would require a team of 50 people. Now it is done by a tool,
How
right?
many
So
you
it
said? Two
learns.
people.
No, tool.
Tool.
Basically,
Acha. Okay. The tool
yeah,
itself. Okay.
it learns itself, right? I mean, there that machine learning, and then there are AI tools as well who learn stuff and see that what is undesirable, and it helps our job a lot actually. So times have changed now. I think systems have become more and more intelligent, and that's where and if suppose there are edge cases वो कुछ manually करना पड़ता है, but otherwise there is no hindrance on the platform as such.
Finally, I want to ask you because you raise a lot of rabbles on Twitter. Are you, and plus you're, running this app. So, are you a free speech absolutist? And what is your take on cancel culture?
See, I'm kind of a centrist, by the way. See, life, all of us are pragmatists. I mean, online you can have extreme views, but in life, everybody has to be a centrist. Yeah. I mean, imagine your boss is someone who's opposing ideology as yours. Of course, during discussions, you won't be starting to fight with him, right? I mean, people have their own moderation filters in life. So I'm kind of that kind of a person. See, free speech is great, and but it comes with, I mean, some limitations. Of course, you can't go in a cinema hall and cry terrorist or a bomb, and it might be free speech, but it can, I mean, hinder lives and hamper experience of other people. So my thing is that, okay, I mean, do it case by case. I mean, there is no absolute rules as such, and I don't believe in life as well. I don't believe in absolute rules. Okay, there will be some no goes, of course, beyond remit of law and everything, but staying in the legality of the law of the land. I don't see there should be an absolute rule. I mean, to give an example कि बहुत लोग बोलते हैं सुबह 4 बजे उठ के ये करना चालू करो, 4:30 बजे ये करो, 5 बजे ये करो. I don't believe that. I mean, everybody has a different lifestyle, everybody has a different way of working, and you should not ape a rule as such. I mean, keep it flexible, right? I mean, you give yourself enough free time as well to recoil your mind, and that's how I work basically. I feel productivity is best in. I mean, the best way to the best productivity hack I would say is smart delegation to get good people and trust them with and empower them rather than trying to do everything yourself. You have only 24 hours, and a lot of people ask me this question that, yeah, how come you're active on Twitter all the time? You have two companies and then you have a family, you're a daughter, this that. I said, dude, I have free time, dude. I mean, I'll tell you, when I was working a job, I was far busy because I was doing a lot of bullshit items I didn't need to do. 70% of my job was basically creating evidence for the work I did, creating a report and everything. Right? So I was like कि यार मैं ये सबूत ही इकट्ठा करता रह जाऊंगा अपनी जिंदगी में जो काम किया मैंने उसका कि सर देखिए ये पीपीटी में सबूत बना के देखो मैंने यहाँ पे गया था, मार्केट विजिट करी थी, उसकी रिपोर्ट, उस रिपोर्ट को लाने में मैं ज्यादा टाइम लगाया जितने मार्केट विजिट में लगाया. तो मतलब सबूत ही इकट्ठे करते रह जाता हूँ. मैंने कि यार सबूत नहीं इकट्ठे करने में, वो काम करता हूँ ना. तो आई गेट लॉट ऑफ फ्री टाइम, आराम से चल रहा है बढ़िया, तो ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. And both,
Wow, because usually startups are known to have very high, like long working hours. So,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't. Maybe this is something. Maybe the product is different, but the product is something I've already worked 13 years, maybe, right? 13 years of Gabbar Singh, and that taught a lot of stuff. So maybe I don't need to research that much. I mean, it comes naturally. Okay, ये करते हैं, वो करते हैं, ये चलेगा, ये नहीं चलेगा. So that is fine, and I got a great set of co-founders as well. So we know our responsibilities, and everybody does their own bit, and we know who is strong at what. So it works out well.
Oh, absolutely, I agree with you. I think initially, also, when I started this YouTube channel as a content creator, I found it really hard. Like, I had to spend a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And then slowly, when I built a team and I expanded,
Hmm.
with the social media team, editing team, etc., I think it got much. The fun actually started coming then
Yeah.
because I could focus on the creative side, the essential parts of it, right?
Exactly.
So
That's
I
where
can
the
kind,
fun part is. That's where you will see
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
now I can, I mean, enhance the quality. Then I don't have to do the legwork. So that's what I mean. You need to do the brains basically.
Yeah. And what about cancel culture?
Cancel culture, I hate cancel culture. I hate books. The thing is, yeah, I'll tell you what happens. I mean, it's natural. When you're young, right? I mean, when you are really young, you don't have any tribes to be a part of. There is no individual identity. What are you? If suppose I ask a young person, so who are you? I am a second year student at BCom in this college, right? There are 500 other students. You are one of them, basically, right? So you don't have an identity as such. So you naturally you gravitate towards tribes, to a Kohli fan club, to basically LGBTQ activist, to be a climate change activist, is that. So you want to be part of that group, which is of course nobler, basically, right? You suddenly have a pedestal in life. Okay, I am better than you. Maybe I'm more morally superior than you. I have virtues to signal, basically. So initial years, and that's how communism also grows, basically. I mean, that's how you say that when you're in your 20s you need to be a communist, and when you're in your 40s you need to be a capitalist, right? That's how the whole sequence is, basically. And that's where young people tend to be in those tribes of like virtues, this that ये वो. But then जब बड़े होते हैं, जब अकल आती है कि लाइफ दुनिया नहीं चलती ऐसे, दुनिया इज नॉट आइडियलिस्टिक, दुनिया बहुत डिफरेंट है. then they have responsibilities to earn this and that. तब अकल आती है थोड़ी, तब थोड़ा सही हो जाते हैं. बट लेकिन वो एक इवोल्यूशन है. वो धीरे धीरे आता है. एंड बट ओनली इशू इज कि इफ यू आर कॉन्स्टेंटली प्रिविलेज्ड कि आपको कभी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज लाइफ में आई नहीं, तो आप जिंदगी भर वो करोगे.
हाँ मतलब अगर आप 4-5 डिग्री करते हो लाइक आमिर खान इन रंग दे बसंती टिल 40 you can keep studying in a very
Yeah,
cheap hostel, then probably you will remain woke
yeah,
forever.
because you don't have any compulsions to earn money. I mean, if your parents basically are well off, for us, people like us, basically, the moment I was out of college, I was had so much of loan. So my parents are not going to pay the EMI, right? I have to pay the EMI with the salary. So मुझे तो मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, मुझे तो जॉब करनी पड़ेगी ना. I can't be like thinking of doing a PhD again. एक और मैं हिस्ट्री का PhD कर लेता हूँ जेएनयू जाके. वो तो होगा नहीं. तो when responsibilities come, when आटे दाल का भाव मालूम पड़ता है तो then you come back.
वो बोलते हैं
So
ना
that
कि there are three phases when you transition from liberalism on the other side, on like wokeism, which is when you get your first job, when you get married, and when you have your first child. That's the
yeah.
1, 2, 3 level transition.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's difficult. I mean, see, I mean, most of the economies that have done well are capitalist in nature, right? China is, of course, capitalist, not communist. You can't say communist, but places like Cuba, Venezuela, and all those communist socialist countries have gone down. Basically, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in the real world. And to be equitable, basically, to have a welfare state where state is producing and you are consuming, and equitably consuming, it never works because people are different. All पांच fingers एक जैसी नहीं होती. So you need to those rewards also need to be I mean same way
Different.
as your efforts are putting in. Yeah. That's where I'm a big believer in capitalism. I think it works. Free markets, I'm a big fan of. I think if free markets works everywhere, if suppose you see a impurity in society, if you see someone undeserving getting something, I mean, bigger than you, free markets will correct it eventually.
Okay. And the last thing, which is your favorite Twitter handle, real or anonymous,
Okay.
to get into a face off with, since you've done that with
Okay.
quite a few.
Oh, okay. Uh,
Twitter face off.
Twitter face off. I mean, if suppose I had to do that, I would have already done it.
Oh yeah.
It's not that something I'm waiting.
हाँ मतलब अगर आपने कर भी दिया है तो चलेगा, बट
Uh,
या
see, now I have a lot of friends on Twitter. Face off नहीं होता आजकल. मतलब see, point is कि if suppose my whole thing is if I see something wrong, if I see something that is going beyond. I mean, if I see someone peddling something which is not right, I'll point it out, and then there'll be some fight maybe that will happen. But it's fine. I mean, it's a good learning opportunity. So it's good. I won't name a name. Yeah, I mean that's not fair.
clearly Abhishek is a lot more shy than Gabbar. Probably the handle will speak soon.
Yeah, yeah. No worries.
Okay, with that, we come to the end of the show. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Abhishek, for joining us. I hope I had a lot of fun having this discussion. I hope you did too.
Sure, sure, man. Absolutely. Always a pleasure talking.
Thank you. And with that, we come to the end of this show. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, see you around.